Welcome back to the Eager Podcast. Today's guest is none other than Mr. Pao Vue. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, man.
I'm glad to have you on, man. There's a lot to talk about. Just first, let me know, like, what are you doing nowadays?
Um, Nowadays I'm just so as you guys know, I work at a family-owned restaurant. Me and my family we all run a restaurant together called Cliff's Kitchen, and while running the restaurant, I do since we're not as busy as much due to due to the pandemic. I just been doing some studying on real estate, so I've been studying
Ooh.
really hard.
Like, how did the family business like affect your life, like social, education, or just pretty much anything?
Um, I would say it didn't really affect me, but the only thing that it affected me was like friendship, because all my friends would be like, "Hey, let's go hang out, let's go eat out around like after school and stuff." Which we started our restaurant when I started ninth grade of high school, so having the restaurant and having friends was like kind of hard because I couldn't hang out with my friends. Like you guys, even when you guys asked me to go hang out with you guys, I couldn't really hang out with you guys. So that would basically be the only thing that kind of challenged me was like building friendships with other people.
Yeah, it did kind of suck. Like, like when you're working, especially at a like pretty much preteens and shit and stuff like that. It's hard because you just it's kind of like what my situation was. It was I was robbed by babysitting and I barely get money, but at least you get money. But it does suck how you have to focus on running it and you have to lose. You're gonna have to sacrifice like I think like friendship over to keep this restaurant alive because it's big money just to like have like this support for like to support this whole restaurant business. And I know that you did family market, farmers market, and I know it did bring a lot of like audiences to go to your restaurant. So it was nice, and you got a really good head start from like your whole family. And honestly, I just want to see how this restaurant goes in the
Yeah,
future.
honestly though, like knowing who my real friends are, even though I had like a busy life, like you guys are still with me, and all those like friends that I made friends with, like are gone now. So I that made me see who my real friends are, and it taught me how to be alone too, and taught me how to be, you could say, financially, just have like an idea how to be financially successful.
I think
Yeah.
it's crazy how a lot of the times in high school when you don't hang out with your friends much or you don't have classes with them, those friendships like diminish over time. But personally, for me and Paul, like we barely talked our senior year, and yet I remember when like you called me when I was like it was like my freshman year of college, and you called me, and we were talking like we were hanging out every day, like we were still like really good friends.
Yeah, man.
That friendship just like it doesn't die easy. Still brothers.
Yeah, even though like you said, we didn't hang out that much in senior year. Even though we hung out like for like freshman all the way to junior year, we hung out like almost every day. Like a year not talking to each other, and still have this bond is what matters most.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about how you kind of learn how to be alone with the restaurant and everything. I think that's a good thing to talk about because I think it kind of I don't know not to speak for you, but it kind of made you more independent. Maybe you kind of had to sacrifice your friendships and stuff. I imagine it kind of made you more independent as a result of that.
Yeah, it made me very independent because I didn't really like rely on people to make me happy. Like if
Mhm.
people were like out partying, like I was in college. I have a lot of friends that invited me to party, but I couldn't go. So I
Yeah.
was like, I don't really need to drink or to, you know, fool around with people just to be happy. I could just go on
Yeah.
TikTok and be happy, or just
Yeah.
talk to you guys, and here and there still makes me happy. Because life is too short to be sad or not hang out with your friends.
Yeah, and a lot of those people that do all that partying and shit, it doesn't make them happy either. Like they do it because they're not happy, but it doesn't give them a way out. It's just a distraction for most people. I think. Obviously there's exceptions, but yeah, I don't know. Basically, you're not missing anything by not going to those parties and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. Like a lot of like these like what is it? I could say role models for me. They literally like let go of all their friends even their family members, they let go of him, and then next you know they're successful because they use that time to
Yeah,
hang out with their friends and stuff to build their wealth and their knowledge on how to become wealthy.
yeah, for
So
sure.
I say using that I rather use that time to figure out how to become wealthy and how to be successful in life than wasting like 5 hours partying when I could do 5 hours of study session of learning or listen to podcasts or listen or just reading, you know, to
Absolutely.
improve my knowledge on.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, 5 years from now, maybe or whenever, it doesn't matter at a certain time, but you're gonna be successful, you're gonna be wealthy, whatever, and they're gonna want to hang out with you now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be flipped. Like, oh, like why don't we hang out? Why don't we get together? Blah blah blah. And like all those people that you thought, oh, maybe I'm missing out on like friendships or relationships or whatever, they're gonna be looking up to you in like that amount of time. So it's definitely more beneficial now to focus on your future than to just be like wasting time, basically.
But yeah, like I said before though, I was like I used to be very like sad that I couldn't hang out with with you guys, you know. But
Mm,
you know, as you can say, as I grew older, like my dad said, you know, as you grow older, you'll start to learn things and see the world as it is. So as I got older, you know, I'm only 19, but I can't really
yeah,
say I'm older, but I can say I'm more mature now since I didn't hang out with friends that wanted to party
yeah,
and just hang
absolutely.
out, you know.
And I think that's actually a really good thing. Everything's like, well, in my opinion, like there's always a good side to everything, like a positive thing that you can take from it. So, when you talk about how now you're a lot more like you have a lot more knowledge and you're more focusing on your financial future and everything like that. That's obviously the silver lining in that, because when you're young, when you're a kid, all you want is friends, all you want is to be like included in stuff and like hang out with everybody. But I think that's a good lesson to learn early on in life, that you can just depend on yourself for your happiness and all of that. Because I know for me, that's something I've been struggling with recently, and I definitely wish I would have like started this progression earlier, like, to be more independent. So yeah, and I did want to ask you, because you mentioned something about your mentors in there,
Hmm.
about how a lot of them were kind of the same way, like they were very independent. How much of an impact does like your mentors have on you? Like, do you get a lot of inspiration from them? Take a lot of lessons from them?
Yeah, like I wouldn't say they're like my mentors, but I do like get inspired from them. Like Grant
Mhm.
Cardone, he used to be like on drugs and he's had like like ghetto friends and like people on crack and stuff. But
Yeah,
he once he turned like 27 or something like that, he he was like he had to move back into his parents' house because he was so broke. He changed his he let go of all those friends. You know, he was
yeah,
alone. He couldn't hang out and he didn't want to hang out with anybody but make money. So and he said to himself like he read this quote where show me your three closest friends and I'll show you your future basically. So
Damn.
that, that's a good quote for
that's
that.
a really good,
That's a
that's a
good
really good
quote.
quote. Yeah,
That's pretty.
I have
Yeah.
to say, when we hung out that one time, it really surprised me and kind of impressed me how much you were into like the idea of being successful, like in the financial way. So I want to know, like, who and what inspired you to pursue success and wealth?
I'll say my parents. Like you guys said, like what I like as you guys know, my parents own a restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before our
mhm,
restaurant, before we had like farmers market, my parents were working first shift, second shifts, and then they were making little to no money, right?
Yeah.
So my brother, he's very smart. So he goes to a private school, and you know, private school is a lot of money, Mo. You know that. So
Yeah.
to pay for that, they had to do farm market. They work farm market, and they do job like that too. So they're hard workers. So that made me be a hard worker too. That opened my eyes to that you had to work hard to get something you want. And then once we had the restaurant, we all decided like our siblings we all came to as a family. We decided to open a restaurant, and we opened a restaurant, and then you know we've been open for 6 years. And then, as you guys know, we went from like a you can say $100,000 house to a half a million house,
yeah,
$500,000 house. You know, so
Damn.
seeing the progress from 100,000 to 500,000. That's what motivates me. The progress of change in wealth. and how much you if you put 100% into what you're doing, success would be. That's what my parents did, and that's what I strive for, to be more than them. You could say.
That really strikes a chord with me, you could say. Because my parents are kind of the opposite, but they're like how you said your parents were just working like normal jobs and stuff. My dad just designs cabinets, and my mom's a preschool teacher. So, um, I don't know. I've always been more inclined to like starting my own business or doing my own thing to make my own money instead of like working for somebody else because especially in today's day and age when you can like really see how much success people have just from doing their own companies and their own endeavors and stuff like that, that it's just for me it doesn't make sense to work like a normal job for my whole life because you're really just assisting somebody else's dream pretty much and not really living for yourself. And yeah, it's fine and it's good obviously to keep a roof over your head and all of that, but I think like you said, you really want to strive for something like more and better. That's
Yeah,
definitely
I hate. I would never work for somebody. Like
yeah,
working for my parents, it's okay because they're my parents. But I will never
yeah,
work for a boss. Like if I go to work McDonald's, I will never work McDonald's. I'll never work at Walmart.
yeah, that's
I
yeah,
want
I
to be
feel
my
that way.
I want to be my own say boss because what is it? I don't remember the exact date, but it was right after it was like my freshman year in college. But I had to go. I went straight to my restaurant after work, right? So I served this elderly Hmong couple, right? But they were old. They were like in their 70s, and they came. And then the husband looked at me. He was like, because there was no other people in the restaurant besides them. So he looked at me and he was like, he said in Hmong, he was like, hey. So he had like prophecy basically. He said, you look like a person that wants to be their own boss, right? You look like you want to strive for more than doing what you're doing right now, right? And I was like, yeah. How did you know? He's like, because I had like he said he had a prophecy saying that since my ears look like the Buddha's ear, you could say, those long, elongated ears,
Yeah.
because I have long hanging ears. So you know that little hanging part of the ear, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like hanging like the Buddha's ear. So he was like, yeah, people with your kind of ears will become successful, and I know you'll become successful. I was like,
Damn.
man,
Damn.
I was
Awesome.
very like motivated. I was like, at that moment, I was like, he looked at my ears and he knew what I was thinking already.
That's crazy.
And then
It's really awesome.
when my
Yeah.
mom came out, he's like, you're very lucky to have a son like this, because your son will be successful. And then my
Wow.
mom was like, yeah, we're lucky to have him because as a little kid, I was supposed to pass away, but
Damn, that's kind of.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be said about how your parents raised you, and I think that you actually mirror your parents' like worth ethic. And I know for you, your parents were very hard workers, and it was kind of the same for me. I saw my parents work their asses off every day, and the only way to make it in life and be successful, besides like maybe getting lucky, is having a really strong work ethic and working hard every day towards your goal.
yeah, man. When you have very hardworking parents, it really impacts the child. So that's what I want to do for my kids and my grandchildren too.
So I want to ask about your childhood. Like, what kind of lessons did your parents teach you to shape who you are today?
It would just say like you said, we talked before. If you don't work hard for it, don't go for it. If you don't put 100% in it, don't do it, because you're just gonna waste time. So go if you're not gonna put 100% in, pursuing wealth, go get a job. Something like
Nice.
Is there anything that you picked up that they didn't like directly tell you that you just kind of inherited? Like it's you probably have to think a little bit about this one because I know like everybody inherits stuff from their parents that they don't even realize. Is there anything like that that you kind of notice? Like I know, like from my perspective, I know you're very like obviously you're very hardworking, like we were saying, and you're very like driven to be successful. And I can see that that's one of those things that you definitely picked up from your parents. But is there anything else that you think?
that. I'm very lazy. You can say, but I'm not lazy, but like I can say, like when I like my parents, when they could wake up like at 3 o'clock and go to work, you know.
Mhm.
So I didn't really pick that off until Like you say, I'm still not picking it off, but I'm learning to. So learning when to wake up, even though you don't want to wake up, is what I pick. Even though
That's it.
even though they told me not to wake up early, but people who wake up early gets the it's just like early bird gets the worm basically.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's what I picked off without them telling me that I had to wake up early. Because
Mhm.
from my room I could hear them waking up, getting ready to go to restaurants.
Yeah.
So what were the challenges like as a kid, like just trying to have to deal with like, from your life?
Well, challenges as a kid,
Oh, like what were the challenges like you had to face?
I can say I process things differently than normal kids because like I could overthink a lot of things. I'm an overthinker in most things.
Mhm.
You could say that because I could look at something and then like look somewhere else and I could imagine it being there in front of me. So it's just something like that. I can't really explain it into words how like that what I'm talking about, but it's just something that I process stuff differently than
I mean,
kids.
like if you want something, you can just like you sit there and like think about it and like you can feel it. Basically, is that what you're saying?
Like most kids would want actual toys, right? But I just want my
Yeah.
fingers. My fingers are gonna be like my action figures. Like
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
I don't really need toys or anything like that to be there in front of me like physically. I could just
Mhm.
imagine it and make it actually be the toy or be the thing that I wanted.
Yeah, that's how I was too as a kid. Like,
Yeah.
if my friends didn't want to hang out or whatever, I would just literally be in my head just playing all day, like just in my basement, just running around, like doing whatever, or outside or whatever. It doesn't matter, but literally just like, or just like, especially because my brother never really wanted to hang out with me because he's like 6 years older than me. But like, I would like throw the ball to myself or something and like do whatever, but, like just be in my head like all
Yeah, my
day,
brother is
just kind
I
of
only have one brother, so he's like 10 years older than me, so our
yeah,
age difference was like
yeah,
different, so we couldn't really hang. We didn't. Our perspective in life was different at that time.
yeah, absolutely.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, I grew up with two older siblings, and I didn't have too much friends that I could really hang out with early on. So a lot of the time it was just me, like in the backyard, kicking a soccer ball by myself.
Honestly, I think that's something that we can all kind of relate to. I don't know if everybody can, like, because I haven't talked to anybody like that isn't like that, to be honest. But I don't know. I think it's definitely a good quality to have, especially like as you get older. It helps you mature faster and just kind of take a step back and look at things differently. I don't know.
I think you
Ties.
grow like a self awareness because
Uh,
someone who grows up with siblings that are very close in age and they're always together, they never get time alone. So when
yeah,
they grow up and they move into their adult life and they have to be alone, they have to live in their own place, they sort of go crazy because they're just not used to that sort of environment.
yeah, absolutely. I think that might be one of the key factors when it's like you're gonna be like really extroverted or really introverted. Just guessing here. I'm not a psychologist, but kind of seems like it kind of would tie in together. Like, if like obviously I've met people who have like been raised by a big family, like a big close family where they like do everything together and stuff. And those people to me have always seemed very like outgoing and like very like they'll just talk to somebody, like they're not really that afraid of like social interactions and stuff. Then there's also like only childs and like people who have a big gap between their siblings' age and stuff. And I think those people are a lot more I don't say introverted because that's kind of like extreme, like that's like the two extremes, but like a little more to that side of like closed off and like more independent, I guess. So I'm in the college 101 class right now. I'm sure I don't know if anybody else here is taking that. Probably Edgar, but and Moses. I don't know.
No, I don't do
Nope.
that.
The oh, you didn't have to take it. Wow,
No.
you guys.
No, I'm in a private art.
Anyway, um, you're in a private art school. I didn't imagine, but I was reading in the textbook. There's this thing about visualization, and how you kind of reminded me of that when you said that you could just like imagine something and just kind of be there. And basically, what visualization is like sit there with like your thoughts. You just kind of relax yourself, take a deep breath and stuff like that, and then you just kind of close your eyes and like visualize your success, like however you want your success to happen. however you want your dreams to come true or whatever, you just sit there and visualize that you're there. Like the success already came to you, all the dreams already came true, and you're like at the end of the road, basically. Not like the end of your life, but you basically completed the main goals you set for yourself. You just kind of like visualize it and like sit there with it and like just feel all the emotions that you would go through if you were actually there. And that like that's a I don't know what you want, like a, I don't know what the word is for it, a tool used by psychologists, I'll just say, like to help people with manifesting, basically manifesting their goals and dreams. And I know, Pao, you do a lot of that. Well, you don't do a lot of that, but you the story with how you wrote the check for $1 million and you dated it,
Hmm.
like that really reminded me of that, because it ties in with the law of attraction as well, how you just believe something's going to happen, and that's the number one way to actually make it happen, is if you truly believe that it'll happen. And it's kind of amazing to me. That's what really blows my mind, is that like it actually does work that way. If if you're that dedicated to something and you know it's going to work, it will. Like that's why everybody says, like, you can do anything you put your mind to, and that's very true. You just have to really commit to it, is basically all it is.
You just gotta grind until you achieve it. Some people grind and stop for a little bit and then go back to it. If you stop, you're never gonna go anywhere. So
Yeah, that's definitely a big factor in success, is commitment. And like committing is committing your mind to it, committing your time to it, and just everything. Like really focusing on it as much as you can is really the best way to be successful.
like one of the guys I get inspired by. His name is Dan Locke. He's like a Chinese Canadian, you can say, but he was born in China, but he went to what is it, Canada. His family
Mhm.
live in Canada, but he was like in his like 18, 19 year old. He wrote his own like book of how
Mhm.
to do high ticket selling, and then what is it? He was like, if I'm gonna write it now, so when I become rich, I could go back on it, and then this and have signature, So now he has like a lot of books out, and everybody's buying it, and then it's just like that basically.
I remember you telling me that story when we went to dinner that one night, about how you wrote the check. I think it was like the next day. I was just scrolling through Instagram. I follow like a couple different of those accounts where they're like affirmations and stuff like that. And one of them said, it was talking about the law of attraction, which I didn't even know the term for that when you told me that.
Hmm.
And like I literally learned all of this the next day. Told me that Jim Carrey actually did the same thing that you're talking about. He wrote himself like broke. He was trying to become an actor. He had no money. He was just not being successful. Couldn't get any roles or anything, and he just wrote himself a check for $10 million. That was his goal. He just wrote a check for $10 million and dated it like 1996 or something, like 5 years from now, or 4 years or something. And literally, like the same year that he wrote the check for, he got the deal for Dumb and Dumber, which was $10 million. And that just kind of blew my mind. Like that's a true story. Like that actually happened. And like how you told me you wrote the check, I'm like, that's literally the same thing. Like,
Yeah,
that's the law of attraction. That's how it works.
yeah. When I was listening to it, I was like, oh, I didn't even know that he did that. So I was like, oh, maybe I might be going somewhere, because I just had the thought in my mind I should just probably, like, because this guy that I listened to, he said, if you believe in something, manifest it, even though it's
Yeah,
not real,
absolutely.
manifest it. So, if you wanna write a book 5 years from now, write a book right now, like not even a published book. It doesn't have to be published. Just write a book.
Yeah,
That's what inspired me to write the check. I didn't even know that he did that.
that's awesome. That's awesome because a lot of things is like, uh, there's a quote like, "It's often in my mind I'm losing." Like basically that means like you could be this close to success. You could be right there, but your brain's like, this is going nowhere. I'm just gonna stop. And you know what I mean? Like, but if you sit there and you believe that you're already there, like even though obviously you don't have the money, you don't have it physically, but mentally you have it. Like you're already there in your mind. Like that's a huge part of success.
It's,
It's
it's
just like the mental state.
it's basically like working out. You know, you're not losing weight. Like even though you work out for a day, you know, you don't see the progress, but you know, you burn like 1,000 calories. You might not look skinnier, but you're going somewhere. You know.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about manifestation, you know?
You know.
Like just continuing like that's the main part of it. A lot of people quit because they don't see immediate success. They don't see like immediate progress, immediate results. They just stop because and it's hard to keep going, but that's when you really have to look at yourself and look at your own mind and say like, okay, I know I'm going to be successful. I know I'm already there. So all that's left to do is just do it, you know?
It's just like what I told Edgar, yesterday. I think it was yesterday, where people who take bigger steps and stop loses to the people who take little steps and keep going.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You told me
It's like
you sent me like 3 or 4 different quotes that really just like I was feeling like shit that day. I was like,
All I read
damn.
is quotes. All I read is quotes. Listen to podcasts. Listen to motivations.
Yeah.
so that's absolutely amazing though because it's a lot better than filling your mind with just like random like useless information that you find on Instagram or whatever.
TikTok.
You know, TikTok. Just it's a lot better to fill your mind with positive quotes, positive affirmations, positive things like that. And that's like another thing is positive affirmations. I don't know if you guys have heard about that,
Yes.
but
Mm.
you just tell yourself certain things, and you literally just say it to yourself. That's it. Like that's all it is. But you can literally like change your whole mindset and whole everything based on just telling yourself stuff. That's really amazing to me.
Do you think you are like money motivated, and do you think that you can actually buy happiness with money?
Yeah, I am money motivated, but I don't let money make me happy. You know, like money motivates me to push myself to do beyond what I want to do. You know, if I don't want to, if like I told myself, I don't want to read this book because it's boring. You know, but if I say, oh, if I read this book, it's gonna make me have like $1,000 from now. You know, even when I
Yeah.
have no money, right? So that motivates me. But if you say, does money buy you happiness? I think money helps you get happiness though, because
Yeah,
a lot of people say money is the less of all evil or something like that. I don't know the quote of it, but people say having money is like will bring nothing but evil into your life, right? But I say it brings happiness, you know, because if you have like medical bills and stuff and you're always stressed, right? But if you have money and you need to pay those medical bills, it will you have money to pay those medical bills, it makes you happy because you have the money there to help you,
yeah.
basically.
But going off of that, like what you're saying, like there was something the psychologist said. I can't remember the third thing, but wealth. The definition of wealth is like you're wealthy, you're healthy, and there's one other thing I can't remember what it is for the life of me. Like if I had to die right now because I couldn't remember, I still wouldn't be able to remember it. But um, yeah, money is one ingredient basically. If you're trying to make a pie and all you have is sugar, it's not going to work. It's just the same way. There's countless stories of celebrities who know I don't know. The biggest story I know is Juice World. I don't know if you guys know him, but he was like addicted to drugs like before he was famous, like very addicted, and then he became famous, and that literally made it worse. And he was never happy. He like constantly in a battle with his own mind, and he ended up overdosing like a year ago. And that's just like a proof. Like money doesn't buy happiness. He says it all the time in his songs, like how he has the money now, but he's still not happy. Like what's going on? Like why? Like what? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So yeah, there's definitely more to just having money, but at the same time, um, obviously money is one of those ingredients that if you don't have money at all, then it's gonna make things a lot harder.
Yeah, like all these guys that I listen to that are wealthy, all of them say, people who say having money will it will never buy anybody happiness. They always say that's why they're not wealthy. That's why they're not rich.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why they're not going anywhere in life. So
Exactly.
if you're scared to have money and you're saying that money doesn't buy you happiness, then let them stay poor. You know, let
Hmm.
them stay stressed because they say money doesn't buy you happiness, but I'd rather be stressful and have money than be stressful and not have money. Basically.
And that kind of ties it back to the mental side of things again, you know? Like whatever you tell yourself, you will believe. So if you tell yourself, like if you think thoughts like, oh, like you said, this book is boring, then the book will be boring. If you think thoughts like I'm shy, then you're gonna be shy. But if you tell yourself like, day, when you sit down to read that book, if you say I'm gonna learn something from this, then you're gonna learn something from it. Like it's that simple.
Mhm.
It's all like the mind is like very powerful, and people underestimate it, and a lot of people don't take it seriously. But like you can manifest pretty much anything you want just in your mind by telling yourself things, and that's something that I've been learning. And it's very, you know, my mom told me that when I was a kid, and I didn't believe her. You know, like you know, like I don't remember what the exact context was, but she said something like, just tell yourself that you're happy, or tell yourself this, and you will be. And I didn't believe her because, like a lot of times, if you start at day one, basically, of telling yourself things, it just seems like a lie. It seems like you're lying to yourself. But by day 10, you're going to start believing it. You know, by day 20, you're going to start believing it, and it's going to start changing the way you think and changing the way you feel. So, yeah, it's definitely, mind is definitely very powerful.
That's the most powerful computer, like most people say. Your mind is the most
Exactly.
powerful.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that because, like, I don't know, having to like just kind of being down it sucks being down, but like just trying to say those trying to like words that try to motivate you. It just helps because I think I did track and it was one of the worst. Like because I had no one in track, and it was kind of bad because it was slow. It's nice to motivate yourself because in the long run it's gonna help you out. It's gonna give like a big mental push just to like give you what you want to see and what you want to do, and then in the end, I made it. Or you still got to keep going and just keep motivating yourself and probably think of like others like just trying to push you up.
Yeah, facts, man.
Yeah.
I think you should be your own source of happiness and motivation. I think it's dangerous when you rely on others for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you know, I definitely spent a lot of time on that other side of the spectrum, relying on other people, just not even aware of it. You know, through relationships, I just completely relied on other people for my happiness, and you know, being single now for like 6 months or whatever really is changing the way I think about everything, and it's definitely like needed. Like I definitely needed this because, you know, if this never would have happened, I probably never would have really came anything. To be honest with you, like would have just like worked my life away, whatever, just doing nothing because you know I never would have really relied on myself and had that independence and like trust in myself that you really need.
All right, Paul. So you're obviously you said you talked about your motivation with money. What do you think your financial goals are for like the next 5 to 10 years?
My financial, like where I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
I'll say being on Wall Street.
Oh damn.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that far, but that's one of my goals to
Okay.
have a house on Wall Street. But you know, but for me financially, at least in my bank account, to have at least 3 million. That's my goal.
Damn.
5 years from now.
Dang.
But yeah,
5 years.
5 years from now.
5 years.
Oh god.
But yeah,
You got into some shady shit. No, I'm kidding.
What are you gonna have to do? I mean, don't doubt him. I feel like Pao,
Stocks.
if anyone has the motivation and the willingness to achieve something like that.
I can see Pao do
thank you
that.
very much. It's kind of hard. Like I want to give up because I'm like studying all this, but you know, to actually put the effort, like actually go into it, like you know, I'm like me in real estate. I'm like scared to go out and talk to people, but once I do that, I'm just gonna keep going, keep going, keep going. It's gonna be successful. So
I
Real
think
estate is definitely a realistic goal if you're getting into real estate.
yeah, because I want to get wealthy from something that appreciates, don't depreciate. If you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know houses they never depreciate, they always appreciate. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, real estate is a really good
Mhm.
thing to get into. Um especially for you. That's honestly like it sounds crazy, but that's a realistic goal.
It's not hard. For me personally, if I see somebody do it and they did it before and they were like poor, like they
Yeah.
were on drugs and then they still became wealthy, I feel like having supportive parents and family members, and if I'm not able to achieve it, that's on me, because
Exactly. Yeah.
people who achieve stuff even without having parents or family members that believe in them, you know when I have parents and family members that believe that I can become wealthy, if I can't achieve it, then that means I fucked up. I did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting enough effort.
Just try not to overburn yourself. Like, I know, like when you like trying to achieve it, but then it feels like you think that you're going nowhere. I think just try to like at least calm yourself down and think what you
Oh
like.
yeah, I take breaks here and there. I play
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
I go watch TikTok like our generation.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Don't worry about that.
Still have yet to get on that app. I don't know.
Good.
I-
Stay
but-
off. Stay off. Stay off.
I used
Dude,
to
I watched,
hate
like,
it.
all
I used to be like,
of
what is the hype of TikTok? But there is some funny videos.
There is some funny ones, but it's mainly bullshit, man.
It's mostly girls dancing.
Girls like
It's all copy and paste.
oh, dude, it's so bullshit. I mean, we can have a whole episode talking about how much I think TikTok is unhealthy for us.
Dude, I remember the beginning of TikTok was like the
all
best.
social media.
But TikTok is where I go for motivation too, because there's some
Yeah.
motivation channels that
There's
has,
everything,
like,
man.
motivation quotes, yeah. So they have everything. So that's where I usually go to. I follow a few of those motivation stuff
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
they have like smooth music and words.
Hell yeah.
So that's what motivates me to just go on TikTok.
A lot of people that are going to be watching this episode are going to be around our age. So, do you have any for being our age? Do you have any like financial tips that people can start doing to start moving towards not necessarily being wealthy, but just being smart with their money?
You can say is a lot of people say invest your money. Like
Yeah.
Edgar, like I know you're investing, right?
Yes, sir.
So learn how to invest because I'm learning to invest, but I'm not doing investing right now. But a good quote I go by is, or this thing that I was saying, a thing that he says, that guy that I listen to, he said what you might call it, if you were paid $50 an hour to do what you wanted to do, right? And then you're wasting like 10 hours a day doing nothing, that means you're not making any money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're paying like just pretend you're paying yourself $50 an hour, you'll be broke if you don't do since you're not doing anything. So
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah,
Like
if you know what I mean.
people
I
like
remember-
that
I
have
remember.
like 9 to 5 jobs. And I heard a lot of people talking about how those people, like the people that use the time, which would be after work, like 6 to like 1 a.m. The people who use that time block to make more money are people who actually get out of their class, their wealth class, and move up. Is if they use that time off to try to make more money and get more income.
Honestly, I think those people are a lot happier too, because again, I'm just assuming, but like I'll talk like my dad. He like his job is stressful to him, but when he gets home, he just kind of does nothing. Like, well, not does nothing. He cleans and cooks and everything like that, like what a normal parent would do. But
Yeah.
instead of like taking that time and working on something else, especially like working on de-stressing a little bit, kind of just accepts it almost. So like you just kind of sit with all that stress that you have every day, and then when you're just thinking about the next day and how it's gonna suck, not thinking about, oh, here's this that I'm doing in my free time that's that's giving me more success or whatever. And one quote I heard, I don't know where I heard it, but like, make your money work for you.
Yes, sir.
If you work for your money, then you're never gonna be on top of it. But if your money works for you, then you're gonna be wealthy and you're gonna be successful. And like investing is one of those things where it's just passive income. Like you just put your money on something. Like you do a little bit of research and then it works for you. And Grandpa, actually, crazy story. He back in like I don't know what year it was, but like sometime in like the 70s or 80s, he had a bunch of brothers and they were all into investing and stuff. and he invested in 3 companies that he thought would do really good. And one of those companies was Walgreens, and the other company was Starbucks. So he literally was an investor in those companies,
Oh
like
my
a
god.
startup investor in those companies. So you think about the return on that, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's a very big return. That was something where he just did a little bit of research, said, you know what, Walgreens, that sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a good concept. And look at how successful they become. And then Starbucks, like, the success
Poppin'.
speaks for itself. So,
Yeah, like Edgar, another thing that I would give like people our age advice about how to save money or be financially um free, is I follow this you can say I follow this guy's plan where you have 5 buckets, right? And then that's where you put money into those 5 buckets. And one bucket is what is it? Save, a save bucket where you save money. And then one bucket is for investing in yourself. And then another bucket is for just in case like you get into like a accident, or a car accident, or you just get injured or somebody needs money. You have that money left over.
Mm-hmm.
And then another bucket is like charity or something like that. If you want to have that bucket, if you want to donate money. And then another bucket is fun bucket. That bucket is to use that money for anything you want. You could go buy a car with it, or you could go out and drink with your friends with that money.
Yeah.
So I say if you spread your money out like that, the money, if you take money from the save bucket to have fun, then that's not gonna work. So you got to be honest with yourself too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing, and then that's how I'm able to save money too, because I used to only have one bucket, and that was fun bucket.
yeah.
So so if you have more buckets, you have more buckets so you can save money basically.
Yeah.
That's just pretty smart advice. I think I might consider it too.
But the thing is that people like when people, the first time I did that, I was like, man, I'm left over with no money, because you spread it out. I'm like, shit, I can't take money out of that bucket, so I'm gonna be broke. But it teaches you how to manage money too,
Mhm.
because you might feel broke right now, but in the long term, when you recount the money of in the save and then the vest and all that stuff, it's a lot of money. You
Yeah.
might think you're broke. You might think you're broke right now, but you're pretty good. You're more rich than most people our age.
I have to say, I'm very blessed in terms of financial, because growing up we were really poor, and my dad, out of nowhere, he made this lawn care business, and luckily it all worked out, and he started to get a decent amount of money. He was always really bad with handling money though, so even though he would make so much money, he was basically poor because he'd just spend all of it. And nowadays, since I got into finance, I basically taught him how to properly handle his money, and now he's actually somewhat decent at it. But I have to say, like, I'm blessed because my dad, for the most part, covers my college, and even like I don't have to work right now. Like, I could just be like, ask my dad, hey, oh, can you pay my rent? Can you do this? So I don't technically have to work, but I still choose to. And anything that my dad gives me, or like if I get a refund from school, I put that all away and I pretend like it's not real money. I either put it into the stock market and invest it, or I just keep it in a savings account. I try to live poor even though I'm not poor.
Mhm.
And I think that's a good thing to live by, is even if you're not poor, live poor and you'll be rich one day.
Yeah, because like honestly, that works. Because living poor, you have the mentality like, oh shoot, I gotta like manage. But then, as like, because I got my money, like my savings come from my dad, and I got like $3,000 and shit. And at college, I just went all ham with spending. It's like, shoot, I gotta stop, because that's when I went under 1,000, and I'm like, well, I gotta build it back up and stop doing that. And I think some of the advices that Pao gave me or gave us was kind of like really nice to hear, because it's nice to just like disperse your money to like other accounts like savings, whatever, and then like buckets.
Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Dogecoin.
I literally showed my dad. I didn't tell my parents that I was doing that idea, and then my dad was like, why are you so? I told my parents, I was like, I have no money, because I can't spend those money, right?
Yeah.
my dad's like, I give you like, you know, $300 a week. You know, why don't how are you spending it? You know, and I was like, you want to see? And I was like, you want to know the truth? And my dad's like, yeah, I want to know the truth. And I was like, all right, go to my room. And I showed him my room and my box, because I don't have buckets. I just have boxes, little,
Actual
you know,
fucking buckets.
not actual buckets. You know, you just place where you can put it. So
Yeah,
I showed him my
yeah.
box, and then next thing you know, he was like, oh shit, you're saving a lot of money. My dad's like, yeah. That's how I was able to buy my gaming computer and stuff, because that was my fun bucket. So
Nice.
Dude, that's awesome.
you know,
That reminds
and-
me. That reminds me of this lyric from this rapper. This I'm rich as fuck, but I save money like a bum. I always thought that was funny, but it's like true. It's like yeah, you know, like if you spend like you don't have any money, then your money's just gonna keep going up.
Think
Also-
poor, get rich.
yeah. Also, live below your means, basically.
Hell
If you want to,
yes.
because I realized that since like do you guys know Mackinac in the Mackinac or
The
Applebee's?
restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just say Applebee's, right? A steak is like $18, right?
Yeah.
When you could go to the supermarket and cook steak for like $5, you know,
Yeah.
steak is
Yeah.
pretty cheap. But when you go to the restaurant, it's like expensive, you know. So
Mhm,
Plus tip.
so if you want to eat steak, go cook your own steak, basically.
exactly. Yeah.
Live below your means. If you want to eat steak, eat ramen. basically.
I think a good
Yeah.
way to also think is a lot of people spend more money because they're lazy in that sense, especially with
Yeah.
food. Like a lot of people, dude. I don't know if my sister's gonna be listening to this, but like she and my mom, they always order like Uber Eats and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And like
That's heavy.
even if they want food from like a restaurant, I'll tell them just like,
Go pick it up. right?
yeah, go pick it up. You have a car, go pick it. You
Yeah.
save so much money. And they're just like, oh, we're paying because we want it to get brought to us. So, like, if you're don't, I think a good thing to live by is don't, when you're gonna spend money, think about, am I spending this money because I'm lazy, or is it just because there's no other option?
That's true. It's a good thing to live by.
Yeah, I
There's
know.
no. I'm sure Pao has heard of him, but Gary V.
Gary.
Oh yeah, I know Gary Vee.
Gary Vaynerchuk. Vaynerchuk. No,
Yes,
you don't know him.
I know him.
I don't.
No, I don't know.
Well, anyway, he's like I don't know, he's probably like a billionaire. I don't really know, but I don't know how much money he has, but he has a lot of money, and he, what he does now is like he started a new company called VaynerMedia, where he just like it's all social media, where he just like gives out advice on like basically what you're talking about, like financial advice, you know, everything. Just he talks about how like he had money when he was like 20 in his 20s, but he chose to live with like 5 other people, like a basement, you know, just renting out like with 5 other people just to save money. That's what you were talking about, live below your means. Like if you
Oh,
can save
Gary
money-
V. Oh, yeah.
yeah, Gary V. Yeah,
Yeah, he's the yeah. I listen to him. I listen to his motivation quotes.
Yeah.
His motivational.
yeah, but
I
like
listen to-
he instead of like, I mean, you could go out and get your own apartment and pay everything yourself, you know, or you can move out with, you know, just get some roommates and cut the cost of living like in half, pretty much, or you know, however many roommates you have, just keep cutting it in half. So yeah, that's definitely like, and it might suck to live with other people, but you just gotta like plan for your future and just save up as much money as possible while you're in that position, because you know, then one day you will have your own place and you'll be able to afford it easily, you know. So yeah, like you were saying, live below your means.
Yeah, I think I heard one of his sayings, like, if you can't afford, if you're struggling to pay for your car insurance, sell your car, take the bus,
Exactly.
or if
Yeah,
you can't take the
so
bus,
that-
walk or something like that. I
Yeah.
remember him saying something like that.
Yeah, he says a lot of like, don't be like, a lot of people are like afraid of it because they're like, you know, they don't want to be, I don't know, they just think like, oh, you know, if I take the bus, that means I'm poor or whatever. No, it doesn't. You know, if you can't afford if your car insurance is taking up a lot of your money, like, don't have a car. Like I know in Wisconsin it's kind of hard because
You
You know,
need a
some
car.
people- you kind of need a car to get
You kinda
everywhere. in
need a
Green
car.
Bay.
Especially when it's cold as fuck.
but-
You don't want to be walking to the bus stop and
Yeah,
Oh,
but in other
especially
places that
when you
applies
live in-
more, like especially California, like Los Angeles, stuff like that. A lot of people
Yeah.
in New York, especially, a lot of people don't even have cars because they can
Yeah,
just
subways.
like walking faster. Yeah, and subways and stuff. So I don't know, but obviously that's an extreme example. But you know, anything like maybe I don't know, maybe your Amazon Prime and your Netflix and your Hulu is taking up a lot of money, just cancel them. You don't need that. Or whatever your like subscriptions, if you have some sort of like magazine or whatever,
Mhm.
like just really, if you're struggling with money, really think about what you can cut back on and what you can, because like that $12 a month, it doesn't
It
sound like
adds
a
up.
lot,
It
but
adds up.
over a year, yeah, over a year, that's a lot of money. So
Yeah, I think to sum up all these financial tips, I think if you're 18 right now or 19 or around that age, the first thing you should do is get a credit card because you got to start
yeah,
building up your
absolutely.
credit. Because the difference of when you go buy a house, the difference of getting a house with a high interest rate versus a low interest rate is insane. Like you'll be saving, I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars on your mortgage. Not only like houses, but like cars as well. Anytime you try to borrow money. So if you're around that age, just go get like a Discover card. Hit me up. I'll send you a referral link so we can go both get some bonus $50. Once you
But
do that,
that's
just build from that. Get another card in 6 months and just keep working on making those payments. Don't ever
yeah,
pay. Don't ever pay what you don't have in your bank account
and with credit cards, like like if you get a credit card bill, pay it every month in full.
every month.
Don't pay the minimum, don't let it build interest, because that's going to hurt your credit score. If you pay it every month, you're helping your credit score. So yeah, if you get a credit card, don't go crazy with it, don't be stupid with it, don't max it out, and then pay the minimum payment every month. That's going to look really bad when you're trying to buy a house and everything. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but yeah, is like pay it off every month and you'll be building your credit.
It's like pretty much giving your friend give you money, you gotta pay them back.
And it's like
Exactly.
a credit card is not free money. Well, when you see that credit limit, like don't get tricked by it. Like only spend what you can afford. Only spend if you're spending
Exactly.
anyways. Don't make an excuse to spend money because you have a credit card. Only use it as you would your regular money.
Exactly. Use it as liquid assets. So as soon as you hit that button, as soon as you put the card in, your money's gone. That's how you should think of it.
Exactly.
Also, do you guys know what a Roth IRA is?
Yes.
Get that.
Heard of
I
it, but
have an
don't know.
account, but I haven't put money in it because I'm kind of tight
Your
right
Roth
now.
IRA, it'll help you out during the long run.
You,
Basically-
Like, all these
explain
like
what it is.
Yeah, it's a like retirement account that
Yep.
allows you to put in what like 6,000 every year,
Mhm.
and it grows over time, and you can take all that money out when you're like 50 or 60 years old. And if you start now, like you'll have like around $1 million, $2 million when you retire.
since we're younger, you don't have to take the money out.
You start those through a bank? Is that what
No,
you do? You go to
it's not
like
a
whatever
bank.
your bank is?
It's like a
Or-
online thing.
It's
Just
like,
look it up online, like
Oh, okay.
Roth IRA, like
Yeah.
Fidelity has a good one.
Yeah, Fidelity,
Vanguard. and-
I just got signed up with Fidelity for the stocks. But
Do
I'm,
no, do
I'll also-
Weeble. Yeah, okay. I'll talk about stocks right now.
There's
No,
all-
fuck Robinhood. Get away from Robinhood.
Yeah, I know, but all of this stuff, like all of this backlash started coming out with Robinhood and stuff. How it like, I don't know how like a bunch of bad. I don't even read about it to be
Dude.
honest, but
I'll
I've
talk
just been
about
hearing
stocks
really
for a
bad-
bit because I can talk about stocks all day. I won't do too much, but like,
Yeah.
if you guys want to
I'll
get
do
into
it.
stocks, I'll send you like the referral links for my brokerage is Weeble, and it's like the most reliable one right now. Stocks, I had no idea what they were heading into it, but I knew that I just had to try. Like the only way I could learn is just throw myself in the deep end. So I put $1,000 into an account, and I was like, oh, okay, fuck. I just bought some random stocks. Because I looked up online stocks to buy August, whatever the fuck time it was, like 2020.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know what to buy. Like, this looks good. I don't know if this will go down. And I bought Tesla when it was $417 per share. I was like, fuck, I might lose my money. And I almost did. Because a week after that, I was down $40. It was red. And I was like, shit, I'm losing my money. I was like, I can't sell though. I just have to wait. Today, Tesla, each share is worth $800. And I have now 6 shares. I'm over $1,000 profit within a few months just for owning this company. Like, I didn't have to do anything. I just bought. I didn't have to do any physical work, and I made that much money.
There's something about investing too, though. If you don't have money to like burn away, don't do investing.
Yeah.
Start saving. Like if you're at a like if you're listening now and you kind of have a little bit of money, like you have like 200 in your savings, like that's good. That's a good start. But
But
I want you to just start saving as
Saving
like
first, yeah.
live poor as fuck. Live like you have $2 in your account, and save that money. Grow it to at least 1,000, and then that's when you should go into the stock market and buy smaller stocks and just build from that.
Do you think? Here's my question for everybody. What do you think is like a realistic amount of money to have saved up right now as a 19-year-old?
At 19,
No, it's different for everybody, but
you know the average is like negative for our age because
because of
of
student.
Damn,
student
dude.
loans. I
Oh,
think
I
a healthy amount right now, it's different for everyone and how you were brought up.
Obviously, it depends, but
I think it's not really about the amount, but about how much you're putting away like each month, and I think that should be like around 40, at least 40% of what you make.
because I saved up like, I remember like around November of last year, I had like my first $10,000 saved up.
Mhm.
And I was like very proud of that, but then I had to pay for college and stuff, so now I'm down like, $4,000. So that kind of is like, shit, I really got to catch up. But no, at the same time, I'm not in like really a bad spot. But no, I definitely just want more money saved.
I can't really say how much you should have saved because, like you guys said, everybody's different. You know, everybody earns money differently. Everybody's income is different. Everybody's how people spend money is different. So
Mhm.
it depends. It depends on the person who likes to go shopping. Then you should at least have a lot of money saved up.
Yeah.
If you like saving money, then at least have like 10 grand
Mm.
saved up. But if your parents are like extremely wealthy and they give you money and stuff and you have nothing saved, there's something wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Stop buying
Yeah.
Gucci.
Because like my parents, they give me like allowance because I don't get paid for working at the restaurant, which I don't really care. I just get allowance, which is pretty good. I say my allowance is more than most people.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I say if I like me right now, I only have like 3,000 saved up,
Mhm.
but that's not a lot. But I'm like I'm learning how to invest in myself. So I've been buying like books and like.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I've been buying since like since I'm a realtor. I'm not saying I'm a realtor, but I do like realtor stuff. I have like these apps for like dollars a month, just to
Yeah,
use it, But they say you got if you don't want to pay it, you're never gonna get it.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So I just say if you spend more than what you save, then you should definitely save a lot more before you spend it.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the high school part. But like, how did you guys meet? How did you meet Edgar and Luke? And
Well,
me?
well, I met you in elementary. I met you in 5th grade, but I don't remember exactly how we became friends. But like I told you, our siblings are friends, so I think that's how we got close because I think my sister introduced me to you because my sister is close to your sister. So I think that's how we met. And then I met Edgar in social studies, but I didn't really click with him because he was always misbehaved.
Holy shit!
He always misbehaved. So I was more of the quiet and like I want to be liked by my teachers. But I wouldn't say I was like the best. I was a smart student either. But I'm like Asian, so Asian you gotta be respectful.
Oh, trust me. That's
So yeah, I met Edgar in 8th grade, right?
Yes, sir.
And then when we went to high school, me and Edgar had a few classes together, and we had lunch. And then we just clicked because we knew Mo, so we clicked on that, and then we hung out a lot freshman year, and then we just hung out more junior year and then junior year. So that's how me and Edgar met. But I met Luke outside by the door, waiting by the door in the summertime when Luke was hanging with like Evan, Ping, and
Do you remember how we met? Because I don't.
yeah, I remember. I remember because we were. I want to say we were talking like I want to be racist. I'm Asian, so I could say it, but so we were talking in like Chinese voice. We're like, "How you doing, bitch?" Yeah, and Ping was doing it. Ping was doing that voice, and I was like, "Oh, I could do it too." Hello, hello, and then you're like, "Oh shit," you can say it, and we just hung up from there. So
that's fun.
I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but it's just how we met. It's how our friendship met. But,
the intention. Yeah, no,
yeah,
it
it's
was
not our
just
intention. Yeah.
it's funny. Yeah.
That's how we met. That's how me and Lou met. That's how I met Evan too. That's how I got close to Ping that moment. I met Ping in 8th grade. No, not 8th grade. No, yeah,
Me
8th
and
grade. Yeah, 8th grade. Yeah.
I've been friends since elementary school. It's crazy.
Dude, I love
Remember
Pang. Pang is such a nice human being.
That Peng is awesome.
He was like, I remember speech class. The best.
Oh yeah, he was in our speech class.
Speech class, world art class. It was the best.
Yeah. Pay's cool.
Shout out to Peng. We love you.
Pao,
I was talking to
you
him
remember,
yesterday.
That's dope.
Pao, you remember the first day of freshman year? Me, Edgar, and you were biking, and then we all got screwed.
Oh, then I
What?
fell off my bike.
What happened?
It was our first day. It was the first day of high school. We were all biking together.
You don't remember?
I remember when we were biking, but I don't remember what happened.
It was the first day, so we were all biking to school, and I fucking I don't know what happened, but I fell off my bike, and I scraped my whole side of my body.
Then
Oh my god.
after school ended, we both of us got screwed over.
You guys both fell. Oh my god, I remember that shit. Paul, didn't you hit the? There was one time where you hit the brakes and you flipped over your bike.
Oh yeah, I do remember that time. Oh yeah. Oh shit. How did I forget about that? That was a funny time.
Oh my
Oh
god,
my
dude!
God.
Oh yeah. I did. I hit the brakes and I hit the curb and it flung off.
You fucking flipped right over.
Yeah.
I remember we used to go to. I know me, Edgar, and Pal. I don't know who else it was, but we used to go to the Preble Park like every day at lunch.
Oh no! Don't tell
And
the
then
story.
I learned how to unlock bikes and I unlocked students' bikes. FBI is gonna catch me now, but it's a long time ago.
We would borrow a bike that was on the way to the park.
Borrowed, I guess.
We would bring it back every time.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll bring it back every time. Put it at the same spot.
funny, bro. Those kids had no idea too.
Yeah.
We literally took their bike, went to the.
I remember
park.
the first time I opened it, Edgar was like,
Oh my god!
We were all there, and we were just like,
yeah.
holy shit! And then you actually took it. I'm like, damn, okay.
I was like, I ain't walking this. I know it's not that far, but it's still far,
Dude, I walked it every day.
If we didn't have the bikes, we would have had to come like 20 minutes early.
Like all the other kids, I'd be so scared of being late. They'd leave like half an hour early.
Dude, I remember
Be at a
skipping.
park.
I remember skipping for the ACT test. Like for everyone has,
Oh.
everyone has like that 2 hours.
Yeah, we had like 2 hours.
And I skipped with like you, Edgar, like the other nerd kids and shit. I was like, this is fun. Oh, and then like halfway, it just got boring. So like, what the hell happened? But then I still kept with Edgar and Pal. It was fun. But the other nerd kids like, oh, this is kind of underestimating
Nerd
me.
kids.
I remember the time when we took the bikes and then you and Philip fell.
Oh, dude. That's what Luke was trying to get to. I knew he was trying to get to that.
Bro,
Yep, that's what
you
I
were
was.
mad, right? You were mad, Edgar. You were
So
mad.
I was pissed because so I don't know how well you guys remember it, but I was on the bike and Philip was on the pegs behind me, and for some reason he was like bouncing. I was like, dude, stop! And then out of nowhere, I just completely lost control and I fell, and his whole body weight slammed onto me, plus the bike. The whole weight of that just on my shin, and I don't know how I didn't break anything, but we were going downhill too.
You know what? That's what
Yeah,
happened.
you guys were both mad that we were laughing, but we couldn't help it. It was funny.
You
Holy
bombed the hill.
crap.
That's what you did.
I didn't even know that.
Philip was on the pegs. You bombed the hill.
And he was fucking jumping, bro.
Bouncing up and down while you were bombing the hill, and we were just watching back like, yo, this is not gonna end well. And,
We
Oh,
just all
my God.
laughs, dude.
Dude, I thought I broke my leg. That's why I was like pissed that you guys were laughing at me. I was like, bro, do you guys give a shit
Yeah.
about me?
Yeah. I remember
Wait,
that.
was it your bike, Edgar?
Yeah, it was my bike.
Yeah.
We never talked about how our bike got like popped.
Oh yeah, my
Remember?
bike got popped so many times.
Remember that one time where they're like, "Hey, I was still coming out of class, but it was end of the school, right?"
Yeah.
And then you guys were outside waiting for me, right, by our bikes. But it was a police officer
Oh yeah.
thinking that I stole somebody's kid's bike.
Yeah.
And
He had
I
the
came
same
out
bike
and
as him.
Yeah, I had the same bike as like a kid that got stolen. I was like, man, this is not the only bike in the world that looks like this. I bought this from Walmart.
And then you unlocked it, and then he's like, all right, and then he just left.
Yeah, but I think the kid knew that it wasn't his though.
That was funny.
I was like, am I gonna get arrested?
Dude, Mo, remember when our bikes got popped?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
What? I wasn't there though. I wasn't there. Right?
I
No,
remember,
it was just me and Mo.
Yeah, it was just me and Edgar, and then freaking what are the vice principal? Kamo was like,
Mr. Mino.
Mr. Mike, you're like, hey, we're doing something else, and can you guys stop? Because we're just jumping and hitting the kind of like touching
Really?
the security camera.
Yeah. Fucking
Remember when we
stupid.
used to take the bikes and we bombed the hill behind the fields?
Oh, that was the scariest shit we would do.
Dude, that was scary, dude. Because it was all like gravel too, so your bike tires could slip.
Yeah.
Dude, I was scared to do that. I was like, no,
We always said no pussy shit, no pussy
No
shit.
pussy shit.
Edgar always said that. Edgar always said no pussy shit, man. No pussy shit.
Especially
Like,
like
you do it then.
we haven't really even touched on have we touched on like the forest stuff?
No.
Fucking
No.
so a fun thing that we all did during our lunch in high school was there's woods next to our school, and there was like a river that would freeze during the winter, and we'd run on it, be like, hey look, we're just running on fucking this frozen lake.
Oh my god, dude, hold up. Okay, dude. Do you remember? Who was I with, bro? I don't know, but do you remember that one part of the like where there's a lake? Well, obviously the lake, but like there was that one path that was just super steep.
Yes,
Remember
yes,
that?
yes, yes.
Dude,
But
Remember one day it was like really muddy, and we were trying to climb on that, and like if you slipped, you're literally in the lake. Like there's nothing, like there's no going back. We
Yeah.
were trying to walk across, and we just kept sliding down. Like oh my god, I remember hanging on for dear life to like this tree.
You had to
'Cause, like,
speed run it.
My feet were basically in the water, and I'm like trying to pull myself back up, and like I can't remember who I was with, but they didn't have anything to grab onto, so they were just like holding onto the dirt and just sliding down.
Oh my god.
Like it was just a straight cliff, like right into the lake. And they
Yeah.
were just sliding
I
down,
don't
somehow
tennis
they
thing,
stayed
man.
on. I know we did that a couple times, but I don't remember who I was with for that one specific
I
story.
don't think we went out when it was raining though. I think you went. You went with somebody else.
Oh, it was like the day after it rained, so it was all slick and muddy.
I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
sad how it's changed now. Like it's
Yeah, me and Mo went back just like for old time's sake, and like a lot of the popular trees we would climb are just like down now.
like especially
Yeah.
during the summer, it was just all vegetation. Like there's
Yeah,
no water.
there's no water
it's
anymore.
Just nothing.
But I remember one time it was like freezing out and we were too cold, and then me and Edgar came. Oh, I came up with the plan to how to go back in. So I pressed the button. We had to press the button to go inside, right? And the girl opened the door, and then she opened the door and she was like, "You guys are already outside, so you guys can't come back inside until time, right?" I was like, "Oh, I just went inside into my car to get something for a homework because it's due in a little bit, so I should use it for homework to get my homework for lunch to do, right?" And then Edgar was like, "Yeah, I just came out with my friend just to help, just to get with him." And then Mo was like, "No, we didn't. We came out the side too."
Oh my god.
Yeah, fun. I was like, "Mo, shut the freak up, man." And then Edgar and me looked at each other. Was like, "Hopefully Mo gets it." And then I was shaking my head, and then she was looking at you. I think Edgar.
Yeah.
Nah, Mo was like, "Oh yeah." I was like,
Yeah, I
"Mo,
think-
come on, man. Get with the thing, man."
Yeah, me and Pao had early on. We had this like brain connection where like
Yeah.
if we had to bullshit to get out of a situation, like we
bullshit
would
a
always
lot.
connect. And that one time Mo was not with it at all. He was.
Once we went back outside, it was freezing out. I was like, I was wearing shorts too, because I guess that was the high school thing.
That was so lame when they were like, "Oh, if you leave, you can't come back in."
Yeah.
Like really,
That was
just
funny.
too lazy to open the door.
Right as we left by the doors and went back inside to the lunch table, you and me were laughing, like we were yelling at Mo too. You're like, "Mo, why didn't you understand, man?"
I think what do you call it? It's like I never really hung with you guys during like ninth grade and 10th grade. It's like I never got the chance to bullshit until
Yeah.
like senior year. It's like when I
I
started,
don't think
like,
I think
learning how to bullshit.
you were never the type of I think you were always honest person though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was honest until like
Me and Edgar always bullshit.
But by senior year, Mo became a pretty good bullshitter by senior year.
Yeah.
yeah, and then
What
now
did you do, Edgar?
I
You
just like to
changed
bullshit.
Edgar changed him.
My bad, bro.
That's a really good idea. Because if I'm honest, then well, we're in trouble.
He's like,
What?
when you guys do parkour on buildings. No, we were on that building. Yeah, we were. What do you mean, Edgar?
What do you
Especially like hotels. Like me and Mo have bullshitted our way like through the hotels. Like we would walk in, we're like, "Oh yeah, we're waiting for our friend Johnny. Like he's in the second floor, like room 204." And they're like, "Oh yeah, you can go right ahead."
Bro. So
I
I remember.
remember-
Oh, go ahead, Edgar. Go look.
I remember like, dude, what was that, like a month ago, Edgar? Where we climbed up that freaking thing that all the doors were locked, but the main door wasn't. And you open the door and you're just like, "On." Like what? Like, oh, just in case there's anyone in here. we're looking for John. Okay.
That was in downtown. Yeah, there's just open door to like a staircase. And my thing's always like, you gotta act like you belong.
Yeah, that's like
So-
you have to act. You have to be in the place because if you're not, that's why we have code names because we don't want we have code names for ourselves, but close it.
And it's also just fun to have code names.
Oh, yeah, Edgar, do you remember? You know that hotel or that hotel right next to the parking lot where
Yes.
yeah. So that hotel, right? That was the first time I went to a building with you and Mo.
Yeah.
And I remember we went to the
AI.
we went all the way to the top, right?
Uh-huh.
We didn't go to the roof, but we went to the top, and then we were trying to go. We went back down to the lobby, or something like that. And then we went to the elevator. Then a real worker came in with us. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
he came in with us, and we didn't know what to do. And then we had to wait until he leave, and then we had to leave after that. We were like sketched out.
We were just talking shit. We were like, yeah, bro, like my mom's here.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to send the video so bad.
Oh, so like I'll just say it. That place you're talking about, me and Mo went, and there we got into like this. It's a convention room, so there's this huge convention room, and there was vans that had their keys in it. Like the keys were in there, so I took the key and I drove the van, and I parked it. I parked it where there's like a ton of shit in like carpet and like chairs. I just parked it like completely on the other side of the room, like all fucked up, and we just ran the hell out of there. I could have smashed some shit, but like that would have been too far. That would have been like vandalism. I just moved the van across the room.
I'll send it.
I love how you always like have all these opportunities like to like do all these bad things, and you just like fuck instead.
We just do like dumb shit.
You and Mo snuck into like that like recently. I know you don't want to say that.
No, go ahead.
Wasn't it like east or west? I don't remember. You snuck into the field and like drew something in the snow, and then you snuck into the concession stand. And there's like and like a bunch of money or something, or like a drawer full of money.
We found a drawer full of like at least $200 cash, and because we're on Jesus' side, we left it there.
And then you put you just stacked boxes in front of the door.
Yeah.
Like anybody else would have taken all the money and like that's it. But you instead of taking the money, you just put a bunch of boxes in front of the door and left. I don't know.
Funny.
I found that so funny.
It's stupid, but like at the same time, we're not doing things like illegal.
We're just
well,
slightly.
Yeah, we are quietly, but like
We're not hurting anyone.
we're just fucking around.
That's how we justify it.
Move the van to the other side of the room.
Bro, Edgar, what are you doing in this video?
Wait, he sent the video?
Yeah.
I sent the
Really
video.
stolen the van or like. Said you just move it across the room.
Dude,
That's just hilarious.
there was a family event, a family reunion event, and we're like saying, you know, there's so many fucked up things we could do.
You could just like
but we
completely
haven't.
ram this family.
This is probably going to get us canceled.
Nah, dude.
Nah, I'm kidding. No,
We're just having fun, man. We're just
It
trying
was
to
just having fun.
get back in
Kids, you
tune
know?
with our younger selves, because that's the type of shit we did. We're just having fun all the time.
We're just stupid kids.
Yeah, man.
But I remember, I remember going back to school stuff. I remember, you know those football things, like you push and shit. Didn't like off.
Yeah. Oh my god.
my back. My back. I can't.
So it's those like football training things where like you like tackle, like you run into it, and
Man.
we all tilted it one way. So like when you sit on it, it's basically like a catapult.
Yeah.
And we all jumped off except for Pao, and Pao got launched.
No, y'all didn't jump off. One of you guys slipped, and then it was uneven on my side, and then y'all all jumped off at the same time. I was trying to jump off, but my leg got caught.
I think it
No,
was
it
me,
picked.
Alex,
And
you
then it
and-
literally grabbed me by the ankle and like literally did me like a whole freaking 360.
You got launched, bro. Like I'm not
Yeah.
even kidding. Like 5
Yeah.
feet in the air. You were above my head. You were
Bro,
above.
I survived it though. I walked away. I was like, oh, it didn't hurt that
You
much.
fell right on your side. I was like, how are you good?
It's the adrenaline. It's the adrenaline, guys.
I was just laughing because it was, you know, when you laugh, you're in pain, you know.
Well, that's too fucking funny, bro. You were above my. I remember looking up, and you were above my head. That's how high up you were.
Bro, I literally went to the moon and back. Yeah.
Oh my
It's the
god.
adrenaline.
But when you're that high up though, the air of your lungs literally just leave.
I
Dude, I literally thought I died right there.
thought you were dead. I was like, dude, are you good? And then when I saw you laughing, I started laughing too because I saw you were good.
Oh, trust me, I've done
We have
that.
a lot of those moments. We have a lot of those moments.
Trampoline was the worst.
Oh, Mo has the even worse one. I don't know what the hell was going through your mind. Like, I used to have a trampoline in my backyard, and for some reason, this kid decided to do a front flip, or was it a back flip?
A front flip, but then I overshot it. And
Yeah, he did a front flip off of the trampoline and just from like 6 feet, 7 feet, probably more than that, flat on his back,
On the ground.
and he got straight back up like nothing happened.
Dude, the hard
Oh,
was like
shit.
super hard. Like, it was
And
like,
I heard him go, "Ugh!"
The Minecraft sound.
It's like when you're getting burned in Minecraft. Ooh.
The old Minecraft sound. Ooh.
That's probably where they took it. The FBI took that sound and
Yeah, they recorded more.
yeah.
I think
Too many stupid shit that we've done,
Yeah.
man. Oh my god.
we used to have this group called 3 a.m.
Oh
It
yes.
was 3 Asians and 1 Mexican for the time, and it was like, I think when
Our clan.
it was a clan, and then Pao left, and then it just became 2 a.m. And then Alex left, and then it just became
1 a.m.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to the very first thing, like how Pao's family business stuff like that. Yeah, I can feel how it kind of affected us, like us two,
Yeah.
and it did suck but at the same time, it's good for Pao. It's like I can see how Pao like kind of adapted to himself to being like an individual, like to be what do you call independent.
Yeah.
Instead of having like
He
hanging
grew
out.
from it.
Yeah, he grew from it.
And while me and you were still doing dumb shit.
Yeah. I changed. You can say I changed a lot. My perspective. I'm still a child in heart.
That's what I think that's what me and Mo have been chasing, like especially this like winter break and the summer before. Like we just been chasing those like fun moments we had as kids, and we wanted to be kids again. And even though we're older, we can get in trouble by doing these things. Like we just wanted to feel like we were kids again. Remember those good times.
Like
think
you know. Oh yeah, go.
Oh, like when you're independent, you can, cause like I don't know, college has been kind of been stressful, and I honestly like I hated the fact of like, since it's part of art school, I don't know how public schools do, but the very first day is the very first day is always homework, and it sucks because you're technically working for a client and for doing art, and then you have a set time, so I'm like. I just honestly I wanted to have like summer to come back, but then with the whole virus shit, it sucks. But it didn't really bring motivation to me with art. But yeah, I think going back to like breaks and shit, it's nice to become like have fun, and don't have to worry about the adult shit yet until
Yeah.
you finally until you finally feel it.
So we talked a little bit about how you have like some mentors, not really like directly, but just people you look up to. You see yourself in that position one day? Like, would you want to be a mentor one day? Like, if you or when you achieve your success, you want to like spread that knowledge back to other people? Do you see yourself in that role?
Oh yeah, like even though I'm not like in that position right now, I still do it. You could say
Absolutely.
because I like I give you guys a lot of motivation and stuff too. Like that's what I'm learning too. So I'm giving you guys that motivation, and then I'm trying to teach you guys know too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to teach two that too. So I'm trying to teach them while I learn too. So I see myself in that position, and one day hopefully before they pass away, hopefully I don't succeed that late, but if I do, hopefully I still meet those people that I look up to.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always good to be a teacher. Like I used to be like, damn, teachers are horrible, but to become a teacher, they're just giving back what they learned.
No, I think it's nice to be a role model. Like even if you look, it's like you look up to someone, and it's nice to like look up and you want to just become a role model like them. But I think it's nice to have like the younger generation to look up to you, and it's like I've changed. You've changed someone's life because you've done something, and I could say like, how you say some teachers don't really do shit. Yeah, I mean, yeah, some teachers don't really do shit because honestly, like, I've seen that in high school. But there's some teachers that really affected me, and I honestly just want to thank them for that. But I think it's for us generation, this current generation can what do you call it, role model for the newer generation.
Yeah, like I told myself that if I can't teach one person what I learned and stuff like that, that means I'm not learning, and I failed, you know.
Yeah.
Because if you're studying 100% and you can't even talk about what you learned to somebody, Even
Yeah, for
even
sure.
even if they're close to you, that means you're not learning. You're not processing that.
I think
Yeah.
the more you explain something, the more you develop a deeper understanding of it for yourself too.
Exactly.
You really have to think about it and think about how you're going to plan it out. And that's another reason I really like doing this podcast too. Is whatever the topic is, whatever we talk about, I always come away with like a deeper understanding of that topic, just by conversing with other people about it. That's
Like,
yeah, like we were saying for this next generation, like role models and stuff. Um, Back to like that TikTok thing, like honestly, I'm kind of worried for the next generation because like I know for me, social media doesn't really have a positive effect on me right now. And again, that's really you can control what you see on there and everything, but like for a lot of people, especially women, like seeing all these like Instagram models and all these like TikTok famous people, it kind of like affirms that, oh, I need to look like that if I want to be like successful. I need to look like that if I want to be like famous, and that's really unhealthy to think like that. So I think mentoring is very important in that aspect too.
was high school a challenge or like just easy for you?
I say I made it a challenge because I say just like college, but as you guys know, I dropped out of college because I didn't really feel college, but in high school, I all my classes were easy, but I made it difficult because I chose not to do homework.
Mm.
You know, so I say if I chose to do homework, I think I would have passed like in a breeze. But I say since I didn't do homework, since I skipped class 2 with Edgar and stuff like that.
Don't expose me like that.
Yeah, since I skipped class and since I skipped class and I don't do my work and all that stuff, I say I made it a challenge. It wasn't challenge. It wasn't challenging. It was just I made it a challenge, and I still passed. So I say
I mean, you still pass. You
I
still
still
got.
You
passed.
made
I
it.
still got a degree.
You got your
I still
diploma.
got things. I still got things to show people.
Yeah.
I think sometimes college is not for everyone. You can still make money without having college. College is like having another degree
I
on
don't.
paper. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I don't think a degree defies somebody. It's just like I know like a lot of people like Elon Musk and stuff like say you don't need a college degree because I will still hire you if you don't have a college degree.
Mm.
Because that doesn't defy the limits of one person.
Yeah, a lot of
Because
a lot of a lot of
Uh-huh.
successful people say that same thing.
I think Elon Musk said something like, you know, a lot of people if you don't have if you don't have a degree and you think a certain way, then that's better if you were taught how to think. You know,
Yeah,
because if you don't have a degree and you have like a lot of these wonderful ideas, it's it's good, right? But if you're taught these ideas and then you just make up ideas close to those ideas, then you're not going anywhere. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But
do
yeah,
anything.
high school wasn't a challenge, basically.
All right, man. Let's round this great podcast off with my favorite question. How do you want to be remembered once you die?
How I want to be remembered. I knew this question was gonna come. But I would say I want people to remember that I'm selfless. I don't think about myself. I want people to know that throughout my life I was helping people and I never wanted anything for myself. I always want to give people other things too. Um like when I get my wealth, I want to retire my parents. Because my parents buy my car, they bought my car, they pay for everything, so I want to give back to them. And then, you know, those poor kids, and like charity, I want to donate money to that too. I just want to be remembered as being I was selfless.
That's absolutely beautiful.
Answer, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we really got to know Paul in this episode. I believe it was, I think, one of the best episodes we had so far.
Yeah, honestly, then honestly, more about Pao.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
We'll have you back on, Paul. It was great having you on here and learning more about you. Even though you're one of my best friends, like I feel like I learned a lot about you today.
Yeah, man. So I have a lot of things. I have a lot of things to talk about, but I'll
Hell
leave it
yeah.
for part 2.
Man, that
Leave it a
island
little
story.
cliffhanger, you know.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys
It's
enjoyed that episode of the Eager podcast. More coming soon. We got a lot of episodes scheduled, so I hope you guys subscribe, like, comment down below because we love constructive criticism. And we'll see you in the next episode of the Eager podcast.